Skull Babylon here, reporting on behalf of Paradigm Shift and Spirit Science, and today we are in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, to cover a story that I feel is incredibly important. A man by the name of TJ Dawe is sharing his experience with ayahuasca as a performance within the Toronto Fringe Festival. Now, what is ayahuasca? That's right, a lot of people don't even know what ayahuasca is. Ayahuasca is a vine that's native to the Amazon that has traditionally been used in spiritual ceremonies for thousands of years. Juxtaposed to today's pharmaceutical agenda, something like ayahuasca is considered incredibly radical, but essentially it is something quite natural, as helping us getting in touch with the energies that are all around us and within us. So the more that we can understand ayahuasca and the more that we can integrate our consciousness with it is going to help us expand and understand the parts of the universe that are considered mysteries up until now.
It has a consciousness status. It chose to reveal itself to the human race at a certain time for a reason, to heal, to show us what we need to see.
Medicine is a one-man show that I write and perform. It's about a retreat that I attended a year and 2 months ago, in which Gabor, a Vancouver-based doctor who writes books about stress, addiction, ADD, and attachment parenting, led me and 21 other people on an ayahuasca ceremony, 2 ayahuasca ceremonies in the context of group therapy.
The effect is different for everyone. It is different for each person every time you do it. A number of different things might happen to you. You might have some very strong feelings. You might see things. You might just get a sore stomach and a headache. The plant goes into you, and it sees what you need right now, and it gives that experience to you, whether what you need is what you want. If you have any problems during the ceremony, any concerns of any kind, talk to Gabor, talk to any of the shamans. They're here to guide you. That is their job.
Ayahuasca is a traditional Peruvian shamanic plant medicine. It's made from the combination of 2 plants that grow indigenously in the Amazon rainforest. Only if you combine them and cook them together for 8 hours is there any psychoactive effect. It's boiled into a tea, and when people consume the same, when different people consume from the same tea, they have different experiences. Everybody has a different experience, and everybody has a different experience every time they do it. A number of different things might come up. You might have very strong feelings, you might see things, you might just get a sore stomach and a headache. The plant goes into you and it sees what you need to experience right now, and it gives you that experience to teach you something, to heal. One
by one, people start going up from the end of the circle. They kneel before the head shaman. He pours a certain amount into a glass, they drink it, they go back to their mat. Before long, it is my turn. I go up, I kneel down in front of the lead shaman, Dave. Dave pours a certain amount into a glass for me. The glass is a bit bigger than a shot glass. The stuff is opaque, it's light brown, looks a bit like Bailey's. Not bad. It don't taste like Bailey's. It's pretty bad, but it's not horrific. I've tasted worse things. It doesn't make me gag or anything. Then I go back to my mat and I sit down. We have each set an intention. That's something we did this afternoon. That's an essential part of this whole thing. An intention, a request, a prayer of what you would like Mama Ayahuasca to reveal to you. Doesn't mean you're going to get it, but you might.
Ayahuasca was very intense for me both times I did it, but that doesn't necessarily speak to what everybody experienced. It is different for everyone. For me, the first experience I had was actually quite powerful and miserable, and I dry heaved for an entire night and felt emotionally very alienated, and it was one of the worst experiences of my life.
About half an hour in, the shamans start chanting, bringing this into this new realm. And somebody pukes. Somebody over there starts purging horrible, vile, terrible vomiting sounds. You can stick in your face right in an empty bucket and it makes it act as an amplifier. And here we go. I start to feel a little psychedelic. And in my inner vision, I see. These aren't hallucinations. If I open my eyes, I can see the room in the dark. But if I close my eyes, I see colors and patterns and shapes. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they mean. But if I choose to, I can move them. I can play with the patterns. A couple of hours pass. I think it's hard to tell time. More people purge. If you drift off to the bathroom and come back, the shamans keep chanting. No nausea for me. None whatsoever. Maybe I get a free ride. Even if I don't. Yes and thank you. Yes and thank you. A few people go up for a second helping.
If someone were to want to do ayahuasca, I would hope that they'd want to do it for the right reasons. I mean, it's possible to want to do it just because it's an exotic substance and anything could happen, and a lot of people find psychedelics fun or just exciting because they're new. I think the potential that is there is for genuine transformation. quite often what ayahuasca will do, there's a documentary on CBC, which you can Google, called Jungle Prescription, that looks at Gabor's work with ayahuasca. And one of the places he goes is Spain. And he talks to some neuroscientists who've studied the actual brain chemistry of what happens on ayahuasca experiences. One of the things that quite often happens is there's a shortcut between the amygdala, which is the part of the brain where we store some of the most traumatic experiences of our lives, and the anterior cingulate cortex. So you get conscious access to some of the worst traumas of your life. If someone's ready for that possibility, like I said, that doesn't happen to everybody, but that can happen. If you're ready to experience that, if you have a sense that your personality might be controlling you in certain ways, if you have a sense that you're stumbling and fumbling into certain patterns again and again and you don't know how to stop yourself from doing this, if you reach the point where you think, okay, this isn't quite working, my life, my personality, all these things that I keep doing, I'm getting nowhere. What's happening? Why is this happening? Why do I keep doing these things? Why can I not do these things? Then maybe ayahuasca, if done in the right context, could shed some light on that part of it.
And then Rainer stops playing, and he puts away his guitar. And then Gabor lights a couple of candles and invites anybody who's ready to share with the group. What? The ceremony's done. It's 2:30, and some people sit at the ends of their mats and they tell everybody what they went through.
I would like more people to know that ayahuasca exists, although I'm reticent to have it popularized, because I can see a lot of people doing it for the wrong reasons, doing it just because it's a thrill. I would like to see people go into it for the right reasons. I'd like people to know that it has a strong therapeutic potential if it's done in the right context. I think the context is just as important as the substance, and that in the right context it can be a source of profound healing and transformation.
No matter what the person's opinion of themselves was, no matter what had brought them here, no matter what their issue was, the person I see is a person of strength, and courage, and love, and integrity. One time I go back to my mat and somebody's left a note there saying, "Hey, Mr. Doesn't Fit Into Any Group, you are so blessed."
I would like the audience to know that they're not alone, that we often have adaptive mechanisms that our personalities took on probably at a very young age that we're not necessarily aware of, things that stop us from being authentic. You don't necessarily need ayahuasca to look into that part of yourself, although that kind of ceremony can definitely accelerate the process. But I certainly think it's worth looking into. What is my personality? What things do I take for granted? How do I define myself? If I were to say I am blank, or I am never blank, or I hate people who are blank, or I could never do such and such, or I always do such and such, any of that's worth looking into. Why do I do that? And how does that thing separate me from everybody else? And is that separation real? Or is that something I'm projecting into every situation? Or do I need to?
Ayahuasca shows you what you need to see, but it's up to you to do something about it. That doesn't happen in a week or a year. It is a long road. The stories actually still happen.
So if you want to find out more about ayahuasca and potentially experience it for yourself, well, don't tell me that I told you to, because what I do tell you to do is do your own research. Find out more about yourself. There's lots of information out there, and listen to the people who have had their own experiences about it. So this is Skull Babylon reporting and reminding you to stay smart, stay safe, and do your research.
Ayahuasca mamai taki taki muiki. Ayahuasca mamai taki taki muiki. Chuya chuya jamping puni. Miski ñuño cuerpo chaitam. Chuya chuya jamping puni.